do you make it that formalized? Like with step one ends when you get to the table, and then you have a transition into that, which would be, okay, so great. So now let me tell you a bit about what we do here.
Once again, we'd like to thank you for allowing us into your home. We really appreciate the opportunity. And obviously, we'd love to get together and in your business while we're here. However, the real goal of this meeting is just to give you information on our products and services. So we feel that the best consumer is educated, which is why the price I actually work up for you today, Jordan, will actually be good for 1 full year, so you can relax. And we'll also take a little bit of time over here to make you aware of any promotions we have going on currently. So if and when you're ready to move forward with the project, you have all the information you need to feel comfortable with your decision.
Great.
We feel that's a much more comfortable way of doing business.
So you take the pressure off. Okay, excellent, right? I love this so far. All great, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and they say, okay, great, sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Then you say, so great. So then you ask a question.
Then we go into our needs analysis.
And what would be the typically first question? So
we get into there, we want to figure out how we got there. Why are we here, right? So were we referred by somebody?
Oh, do they know? So does the salesman know the source of the referral?
Usually.
Okay.
They do, but we'll ask who referred you to our company, implying
act as if everyone's a referral. Yeah.
Got it. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So you just say, hey, most of the people I meet with referred to us, word of mouth, repeat business. I'm just curious, Jordan, were you also referred by somebody? How did we get here today?
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And then they'll tell you. So whether it's a TV, and sometimes they had a neighbor down the road that did a bath with us, right?
Sure.
It has to be a conversation, not an interrogation. So I'm not sitting there drilling them question after question, right, until they fall over.
You're the trusted advisor, not the grand inquisitor.
Correct, yeah. So that's something we really preach on is make it conversational. We talk about a form method of communication, learn about their family, their occupation, what they do for recreation, motivation, all that stuff.
Right.
And just really learning as much as we can about this person. Because ultimately that'll help me tailor my presentation accordingly.
Okay. How long is a typical appointment?
2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
To fully consummate a sale.
Okay.
Part of what we train on which is the big key of what we do, is selling financing.
Right,
because a lot of consumers, we don't make money on it.
Oh, really?
It's only, and it actually costs us money as a company. But basically, the better you can sell the financing, and it's not something most consumers don't jump up and say, I want to finance. Usually early on in the survey, they'll tell us, if we ask them, are you thinking of financing or cash? A lot of times they'll say cash, but they don't know what the price is. So they may be thinking the windows are going to be $5,000,
right,
and they end up being 20. Sure. So a big key of what we train on is how do you sell financing? How do you get them comfortable with it? Which is a process. So
and does that come up? Do you start begin seeding it?
Well, especially because sometimes a customer will blurt out the reason they called is because I saw you have 60 months interest refinancing going on right now, and that's why I called. So certainly at that point, I want to extract more information, maybe even figure out more of a monthly investment that they know would work for them.
Right.
So basically, we phrase it in a way where obviously I don't want to waste your time showing you things that are out of your comfort zone financially. I know that interest rate is important to you. I find a lot of our customers, when they do budget plans like this, they like to be somewhere between $200 to $300 a month. If and when you do this, is that a range that would work for you, right? And then we know a target that we know we can make it affordable.
Makes sense.
We're anticipating financing, I do a lot of basement remodeling. Average ticket could be $50,000 to $100,000. So it's a big 80% of our customers are financing. We're a merchant for multiple lenders. So we have sort of a tiered waterfall system where we can get just about anyone a loan, as long as they have a pulse.
When they're done with gathering intelligence, the needs analysis, right? They know everything they need to know. Your next step is?
Measure and inspection.
Got it. So this is now specific to your industry. They say, great. Well, based on what you said, so how would you? So you say, okay, great. Well, based on what you said, next step would be, let me just see, what you got, right? Give me the words.
One thing you really hammer on in your training is creating urgency, and that's really what the inspection process is all about. So we talk about the cycle of motivation. So the reason why you're there is because the prospect has a problem. Doesn't necessarily mean they're aware of how bad the problem is or how many problems they have.
They're probably in denial also. If they have a problem, they get used to it like,
Yeah, so the beautiful part about the inspection is it's really one of the big opportunities where a sales rep can start to take control of the situation. So we talk about in our training be the thermostat, not the thermometer. So of course the thermostat is going to control the environment, regulate the environment around. The thermometer is responsive.
I like that.
So we got sales reps that'll go, for example, on a window lead, and they'll sell them $20,000 in bathroom renovating, and it has to do with the inspection because
I'm going to steal that from you.
There you go.
To steal that from you.
Sure.
I love that.
I appreciate that as long as you give me a shout out.
I like that. That's a good way of explaining it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we talk about the cycle of motivation. So cycle of motivation is problem first at the very top. It's a circular thing. You're there because the customer has a problem. Well, just because they have a problem doesn't mean they're aware of how bad it is. So the real big part of our inspection process is creating pain or trauma in terms of how bad the condition of their windows are, their bath, their basement leaks, their roofing leaking, their siding falling apart. Because very few homeowners go through their house with a fine-tooth comb.
Sure.
So I always ask, like, Jordan, for example, your house. Can you tell me the exact condition of every single window in your house right now? Honestly, probably not, right?
So in other words, they might have called you for one window, but you're going to do a free home inspection and make sure that's like a health check of their entire home.
Correct.
To make sure everything is copacetic. And on that inspection, you'll probably find, but I've done this with plumbing companies and it works incredibly well. So is that the system?
Yeah, for
And it's
example,
ethical too, because why not? As long as you're there, you might as well do it, right?
one thing Nathan always says is the customers are never going to get excited about replacing one window, and we certainly didn't drag our asses out of bed to drive that prospect's house to sell one window.
Sure.
So we're always aiming for the whole house.
Yeah.
That's the real goal of the whole thing.
Well, give me an example of something that would be a typical person that didn't have urgency in the beginning, and what would you find, and how would you position that to create urgency?
Yeah, so a lot of times we'll find issues with like mold or mildew. Let's say I'm doing a bath inspection. I got a moisture meter. It measures the moisture content behind a wall. Now on the surface, Jordan, you may think your shower's in perfect condition.
Sure.
But then I show you that behind your wall, there's 100% moisture. Now, if there's moisture behind your wall, what do you think's growing back there?
Mold, yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be black mold, which is dangerous. It's gonna, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they'll think of it that's linked to their seasonal allergies or chronic sinusitis.
Sure.
It's linked to their asthma problems or shortness of breath.
And are you seeding those things in the needs analysis?
A little bit, yeah. A lot of times that comes
If you're
out
not,
in
you
the
should
survey.
definitely be doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It comes out early on, especially if it is a pain point when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times they don't know about it until we point it out.
It's all psychological.
Makes sense.
In the end, hopefully in the end, they want to buy from you, and the close is easy.
So how long does a typical inspection take? Is it a 20-minute process, 30 minutes?
That can vary dramatically, obviously, depending on
Size of the
the
house.
size of the project. But I'd say usually 20 minutes to sometimes an hour, depending on how big the project is.
So after you're done with the inspection, right? Then you have a transition into what, the solution now?
Yeah, so one thing he actually mentioned that is very important is we want to get tie downs and commitments on a lot of important steps in the process. So one thing I don't want to try to overcome in closing is procrastination, because they say most people would start a procrastination club, they just don't get around to it, right? But homeowners, if there's no urgency or no commitment to do the work, then it doesn't really matter if the price is good or not, right? The today only won't work as good.
Sure.
So I want to get them committed that they're definitely going to be getting this project done. So we train to get a tie down on the customer. So Jordan, I can definitely see why I'm here, and I'm sure you'd agree, whether it be with us or any of our fine competition, getting these windows, this bath, or this basement is something you definitely need sooner rather than later, true? And then I shake his hand and say, I appreciate the opportunity to help you with that, right? So you get a handshake commitment on they're definitely doing something with this project.
Sure.
Then I can move on to step 4 being the company story. Now I'm going to educate them on who we are and how we can help them solve their problems.